I love it. I love it. We did not curse you out. Just understand that. We just said hello formally in Korean. I am Kristen, aka Blerd Sunbae, and I'm with such a wonderful, amazing talent today, Tasty Steve.
Oi, 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 oi. That's love, that's love,
yes.
that's love.
How are you?
I'm doing all right. Enjoying my first DreamCon. It's actually been amazing. I can't believe it took me so long to come to this. And
it did.
Yeah, I'm trying to run it back. I gotta make up time. I'm coming back next year.
I love it. It's so amazing. We were talking a little bit before this got started, and two completely different sets of years here. I'm veteran status.
This is a vet right here. This is a DreamCon vet. I want to see the book. You need to make a pamphlet. I would love to see what you tell people to do right here. I'm just saying.
Oh, absolutely. I should be in like the first time to the con guide. Okay, like 7 years in the game. Second year is press.
Run it.
Doing
Run
the
it.
thing.
Tell them. I'm telling you right now. There's a lot of culture here. I'm a fan of it, and in all honesty, I feel like it's so long coming because I do this for a while. I've been doing this a while, and coming to events like this, it's so different than any other con that I've ever been to. So it's a blessing. You can feel it. There's so much culture here, you know.
I love it. Now, we all had this thought, and myself especially. So I have to ask this first before I touch on anything else. Why Tasty Steve? Like, I had all these theories in my head. Like, is it a foodie thing, or is it like the comments, or like finger looking good? Like, tell us about it.
All right. So I'm gonna give you the short and sweet story, right? So I'm a transplant. I moved to the West Coast from the Midwest. Maybe like I think it's I've been on the West Coast 20 years now. So when I moved to the West Coast, I was going to an arcade. I call it like the fighting game holy ground because you know it ain't no arcades. You can barely find an arcade. It's not Dave and Buster's. I'm talking about hole in the wall arcade, right? Like museums and dinosaurs. Anyways, so what happened was I went there. I was going there playing games. I would play on the arcade games, and I was pretty good at the games, right? I'm pretty good at like, damn, Steve, you kind of nice on the sticks. I was like, hey man, look, I do this, and then they were like, yo, Steve, bro, you're pretty funny. I was like, yeah, thanks, dude. I appreciate it. It's like, damn, and you like always stay in shape. You always in the gym. You make sure you always look good. I was like, yeah, and they was like, you keep it fresh. I was like, yep. They was like, damn, bro, Tasty Steve. I was like, nah, man, you can't call me that. Like, because I'm a little hood dude. I'm like, bro, you can't call me Tasty Steve. I'm from St. Louis. I can't go back to St. Louis, and they call me Tasty Steve. So it actually stuck because literally they were giving me love. You know what I'm saying? They was like, yo, Steve, nice on the sticks, funny, you're good looking, you're always fresh, like Tasty Steve. Like, it only makes sense. And I was like right? Dang, that's bars. Oh, that's bars. But yeah, no, straight up, like, and it really did stick. And like, it's kind of like a cousin's name that literally, like, your cousins give you a nickname and you can't get rid of it.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's like a family when we do this. So it's literally like, why would I not keep the name? And now it's, you know, I meet a lot of people that be like, yo, Tasty. I'm like, oh, Jesus. What's up, dude? Like, it's cool now. It's cool now.
Now, you mentioned St. Louis, and we're also talking about having, you know, connections in Memphis. I'm from Memphis. It's a dangerous couch. It's a dangerous couch. So, with, you know, that being your hometown and everything, how do the people from home feel about, like, what you do? Like, hero of the city? Like, that's me.
It's kind of crazy because, like, I was known, like, when I was in town, you know, you play games with people, and like, where I'm from, people knew me as, like, the game dude. They would literally see me, and they'd be like, yo, Steve, when the next NBA 2K come out? And I would literally pay so much attention to games. Like, literally, I used to get in trouble for reading video game magazines in school. So when they would see me around the hood, they'd be like, yo, Steve, I need the new 2K when that come out. I'm like, oh, it's August, blah, blah, blah. They're like, why does he know that? It's like, because he's the game dude. But when I kind of moved to the West Coast, I got more centric in fighting games. Because I beat everybody in the hood in fighting games and my family and everything. Yeah, that's what happens. The entire hood, they knew I would go to other hoods and smoke them too. They'd be like, yo, Steve is nice with it.
They said, we're going to have to see you in real life.
That's literally what it was. That's where I'm from. That's how I go. But what ends up happening is, like, they see me now. And my grandfather, it's really funny because I recently just had a conversation with my grandfather. And I saw him and he was just like, yo, Steve, you got like a day rate and everything now. And I'm like, yes, sir. He's like, you know, I remember I took you to a GameStop and you were just, like 12, 13, and you literally saved up money to buy a game and you dumped a sock full of pennies on the counter. And he said the dude looked at me like I was crazy because I was saving up to buy that. And like, in retrospect, him telling me like I didn't know what it would turn into, and the fact that like I'm traveling the world and I've been to all these places. Like, if I knew that this is what it was going to turn into, then I would have bought you all this stuff, no questions asked. But And the way that they perceive it is, it's more about the fact that it's like, they can't believe it. Like, and they don't really have a grasp of what I do outside of like talking about games. So of course my family has gotten older. They've got kids now. My cousins got kids. And they're just like, yo, you my cousin to play video games for a living, right? And I'm just like, that's right, Junior.
Sure.
That's what I do. And like, so they was like, yeah, I was telling my friends at school about you. And now I have people that literally that I went to high school with, they're telling me that their kids are fans. They're just like, yeah, my daughter, I walked in my daughter's room and she was listening to you commentate a Street Fighter tournament. I was like, wait, me? And she was just like, yeah. And she's like, I had to tell her that I went to school with you. And I pulled out the yearbook and she did not believe me. So it's so from every angle, it's like a blessing. You know what I'm saying? Like people that I grew up with, they understand a little bit more because I played games with them. But a lot of people that I went to high school with, I literally came to my first dream car. I went to high school with some of the people that I met here. So it's
family reunion.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy because she was like, yo, Steve, I didn't know you came to this. I was like, we both like anime. You know we like games. She was like, Steve, I've been coming for like 3 years. I would have been linked up with you. So now we're linked up. And from every angle, it's like people are saying what I'm into now. And it's actually pretty beautiful. And I'm glad you asked me that because, like I said, I'm a firm believer in, making sure you put that into other people too. It's never a solitary thing. It's more about putting out there. And I've seen people look at me and be like, hey, now I would like to do something like that. I want to move more towards something that I'm passionate about. So it's a full circle moment.
We have to know what that first game was for you.
Oh, wow. So I'm going to tell you right now, a small story. I remember, I'm showing my age here. So the Nintendo Entertainment System, I begged. And my grandmother knows. I was like, oh, you ain't got to give me clothes, shoes, food. Give me that Nintendo.
Not food.
I don't need food. I need that Nintendo. And like, she was like, all right. And the first game obviously was like a Mario Brothers game, right? It's Mario Bros. But one of the first games that really made me be like, oh, damn, this is it. It's like Sonic the Hedgehog. Like,
really?
Bro, even the music on like Sonic 2 Chemical Zone to this day, it is a banger. Oh my God, it's so good. It really kind of set my pace for me to be like, man, I want to go into game design. It kind of really set me on the path of being like, how do I get deeper in this? Like, how does this work? And literally kind of guided me to what my college way was, which is video game design.
With you being a wealth of knowledge on the gaming, like that being in your area of study and in your career, which game would you say kept the classics like over time, and which game had the most drastic change that you've seen over time?
So one of the conversations that I like to have is about like the action adventure games, right? Like the Tomb Raiders, right? Tomb Raiders into, let's say something like Jack and Daxter, Sly Cooper, which are kind of like heavy, like kind of like platforming games. So like Tomb Raider 2 is one of my go-to games, right? It's just so sick, but it's actually like probably one of the first 3D platformers that really kind of like set the tone. Now, if you go back and you like play those games, they're very kind of like stale now. The rooms are not like how they are now. Obviously, graphical limitations and all that. It's gotten so much more advanced. And what I look at is like what Tomb Raider played like and something like Uncharted plays like. These games are like, they're connected by like legacy because they're literally the same game with different antagonists, but they're so much more thought out. That's why I'm a big fan of like what Naughty Dog did in Eidos, right? Eidos is Tomb Raider, and Naughty Dog is obviously like, Uncharted. But those games have literally evolved so heavy. And so Tomb Raider is one of my go-to games, right? But one of the greatest games in like our generation is Uncharted 2, Among Thieves. That game is goddamn ridiculous. And I tell people all the time, like I'm like, there's like, what do you play if you want like one of the greatest like action platformers with some of the best writing? The graphics are crazy, and like even the script is like really like the way that like they literally do the quips, the way that they talk to each other. It's like a movie script. So I always point to stuff like that because those games have evolved so heavily. Those games hold so much legacy, whether it be platforming from something like Nintendo, whether it be like holding the screen, like something like old school Ghosts and Goblins, like you do all those things in that game to a degree, and it still has like a package of, hey, you're having a good time. It's probably, Uncharted 2 is probably like one of the most complete games ever.
Could you take us back to what that first opportunity was like that you got to commentate, and also which one made you the most nervous?
So I was telling you about how I went to an arcade when I first moved to the West Coast. So I went to this place called Super Arcade. And literally, some of the people, my friends, I call them my brothers, I met them when I was 16 years old going to arcade. These are grown men, 30, 40 years old. I know their families, I know their wives, I know their kids now. And I met them literally when my mom was like, Steve, what you about to do? I'm like, I just want to go play the game in the arcade. She was like, all right, go. And I remember seeing and like meeting people, right? So when I went to Super Arcade, literally I walked in and I'm seeing all these people that I watch talk about games. And I'm like, damn, I know this person. And I'm a big fan of you guys, you know? And I literally used to see the results from the tournaments that they had at that arcade in a magazine that I had to beg my people to buy. I'm like, just let me buy this Tips and Tricks magazine. And I'm looking at the names in the back. I don't even know what they look like. I don't know Justin Wong. Oh, is that Dino? I don't even know who these people are, but I want to meet them. I went to a place where they held these arcades, where they held these tournaments. And literally what happens is they had a video game tournament for Tekken 6. And I'm watching them play Tekken 6. And they don't know this, but literally what I used to do was I would go to my friend's house, Rick the Ruler, Diedrich, my homies Rob, Aaron, all of them. And obviously I'm spouting off a lot of names, but this is how I get back into the memory. I would literally watch them play the game, and I would just sit there and I would talk. I would literally be like, look at this. That was crazy. What's that again? And like, I wasn't conscious of it, but like, that was me preparing myself. Literally, I was already doing it. So literally what ends up happening is this is years apart. I moved to California. I go to the arcade, and I'm doing it already, and I don't even really know people there, but I'm literally still doing it. And this is when they really first started streaming on Twitch, fighting games specifically. And my friend was there by himself, and he was kind of like sitting at the desk, and he was like, bro, we need somebody else to talk with him about the game. And my friend was in the chat. He was in the chat. Shout out to AJ. He was in the chat, and I was wearing like a blue cardigan. And he was like, get that dude in the blue cardigan, you know. And he was just like, this guy, and he literally is like, if the camera's here, he was sitting on the desk, I was standing in front, he was looking at it in front of him. He was like, this guy right here? He was like, yeah. And he's like, yo, this dude said you know how to talk about the game. I was like, yeah, I play a little bit. And literally I sat down, and like, it kind of just took off from there. Like, I wish it was an exaggeration. It was so crazy. And he was like, damn, man, you like really do talk about the game. I was like, well, one, I played a lot of video games. And two, I mean, at this point, I've literally been doing it for years.
How does it feel to be doing what you do here at DreamCon?
It's kind of surreal. I'm gonna be real. I walk around. I'm like, none of these people don't know me. I'm just chilling. I'm walking around, but like, man, the security guard stopped me. Like, everybody like, yo, Steve, what the Tasty Steve? I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? And I'm one of those people. I was walking with my friends. Like, I never wore my badge, so nobody knows. Like, unless you know me, then you know. Like, some people see the beats and like, hey, are you? You know, and then they see it. But for me, like, it's still surreal to me because like this is a space like I've always wanted a space like this to exist, and now it has, and now I'm in said space, and people see me. You know what I'm saying? And if you see me, then thank you.
They were like, Darnell, that's you?
Yeah, right. They're like, who that is over there? And I'm like, yo, it's your boy. And I'm like, what? Like, it's so, like I said, it's crazy. For me, I literally don't believe it. Like, I'm one of those people that, like, I'm like, damn, they invited me to DreamCon? My boy was like, yeah, bro, you should have been here. I'm like, huh? Like, I'm like, what? Like, me? Like, all right. And I'm like, I'm just a fan. Like, I like seeing people in cosplay. I like seeing people that look like me in cosplay, because I'm like, I'm a nerd for that shit. Like, I love that shit. And if there's space for us to chill, do this, like you said, it's a cookout. We need more of that, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, shout outs to DreamCon, man. Shout outs to already seeing them, bro. Like I said before, I told them I'm a fan, and they still brought me out, and just seeing this it's an amazing. I mean, even just sitting and having an interview with y'all, like, y'all know how cool that is? I'm gonna tell my little sister about this. She's gonna be like, what? You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be dope. I'm telling you.
All the family.
I know you mentioned that you're like more into the technical side of games, which is really nice that you're like into like other games besides fighting games and more of the technical aspect of how they work in general. Knowing that you kind of went to school for that as well and have a little background in there as far as education and things, do you feel like in the future, besides like commentating, you know, in the near future, you know, taking that leap of faith towards going that direction and maybe creating your own game?
You know, that is such a good question. And I'm going to go back to, when I was talking about like Sonic the Hedgehog. So I'm giving y'all, this is one of my dreams. This is one of my, I call them secret trophies. You know how you buy a game, they have trophies? This is a secret trophy in my life. And I'm saying this on camera for the first time. one of my dreams, one of the things that I want to do, I want to make a Sonic game. And it's still in my head. I have when I tell you, Sega, if you let me do this game is going to be great. I promise you. It is no way. And I've literally thought about this down to boss battles, level design. Like, I thought about everything. I even have a person that I want to do the music for the game. That's how much I thought about it. And yes, I definitely think about that because it's definitely gotten to the point, like I said, I have companies that come to me now and they're like, hey, can you come play this and break this down? And it's something like, hey, what do we need to do here? Like, what do you feel like it needs? And I'm able to give that kind of insight, even to the point where I have friends that work in companies now. They're like, yo, Steve, you want to make a game? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, not yet. Let me frolic a little bit more. Let me go out here and, because a lot of times when you get into that space, like, and it's not a bad thing, but like, that's a huge commitment. Like, and going to school for this, I know that this is, and obviously development has gotten a lot easier, but it's still, one, it's costly. It's very much time consuming. But yes, that's one of the things that I definitely want to do before I say goodnight is make a video game. And I want it to be a Sonic. Sega, I'm telling you, if you see this, you saw how I get down to Sonic. Let me make that game. I promise you that it's gonna go crazy. Everybody's gonna love it. When it happens, watch. I'm telling you, I go be like, yo, Steve, I'm telling you right now. Let me make that game, Sega. Let me give you this money. It's gonna be ridiculous. I'm getting hyped. Let me calm down. Just know.
Hype me up.
I swear to you, that game is going to be crazy. Oh my God.
Tasty Steve, I have a kid that has grown up on the iPad. I already asked him, because he's a rising kindergarten, what he wants to be, and he says he wants to be a game influencer. So I already know I got a big personality coming into itself. And I just wanted to know personally from you, like, what would be something you would recommend these young wannabe influencers? Because they're really like obsessed with watching y'all while they play their video games, and they're so young.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's like, my kid has more retaining of information of games than he has of what's going on day to day in school. Like, I'll ask him what's going on today, and he'll be like staring at the game system, the Switch, or his iPad,
the real
in the corner of his eye, saying, "Yeah, everything was good, Mom. Everything
it was
good.
all right. It went perfect."
So, what would be something you would recommend just for them to like focus on being better at in regards to like reviewing games?
So I think it's the balance. I think the balance of, obviously, like, I used to be like, man, you got to be careful putting people in the space where it's just drowning in technology, right? But one of the things that, and just to go back to what you were saying at the beginning, one of the things everybody told me is like, bro, if you knew your schoolwork and like you knew these games, you would be a billionaire. My grandma and my mother, my dad, all of them used to tell me that. And like, at first I was like, all right, whatever. And now I'm like, actually, it was kind of cooking. They were kind of cooking with that. So I would say, if anything, like, do it for you. Don't do it in the sense of like, yeah, obviously people play games and they talk about it like, oh man, I could do that. But I would say, like, make sure it's something that you want to do, because it's really easy to get into this influencer habit of being like the mob mentality that they don't like, oh, so I don't have to like, or I have to be in this. And I don't think it's that way at all. I think it's something, like I said, I think it's the balance. Being able to play and be like, oh, I like these things, or I like these kinds of games, because everybody's not going to like what you like. And even more so, you might not always have something out there that you can put on that level. So it's more about, like, I would say, if anything, and this is, I feel like it's a big ask coming from, somebody who's been around a lot longer. Can't ask a kid to do this, but like, know why you like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, being able to describe it is actually probably one of the best pieces of advice I can give you, because if you can describe it, then that means you can teach somebody about it. Like, being able to talk to people about anything that you like is the beginning stones of anything. Like, if I can't talk to you about it, then I might not know that much about it. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I say, like, engage him. You know what I'm saying? Talk, even if he is like, hey, and this goes for any child out there. Like, if you engage that child and be like, hey, what is this thing that you're really into? And just listen to them, they'll tell you everything that you need to know. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the sense of being an influencer, because they want to talk anyway. They want to talk to you anyway. That's their gig. Like, it was like, oh, you want to talk? Well, talk to me about it. You know what I'm saying? You really want to be an influencer? Why would I play this game? How would you tell me to play this game? And it's on the supportive side, you know what I'm saying? Not even on the like, yo, go do your work. It's like, hey, you like, what game are you playing right now? Why do you like the game so much? Talk to me about it, you know what I'm saying? Yo, kid, why are you playing this game here? Well, I like it because I get to jump around. I like the colors. I like this main character. I like the way I have to use the control. I like the interactiveness. I like multiplayer, those kinds of things. So if anything, they're already leaning into it, you don't want to push it on them so much that they get deterred from it. You don't want to be like the parent to be like, yo, you got to be the best at basketball or baseball. You don't want to do that. But I would say, and this is somebody who's coming, I don't have children, I just got a little niece. So just take that with a grain of salt. But I always ask her, I'm like, why are you into this? You know what I'm saying? And she's like, Steve, I love doing my own hair. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Why do you like doing your own hair? She's like, because I like making myself look the way that I want to look. I'm like, that's cool. I'm like, so who do you look at? Like, who are the kind of people? She's like, well, I look at YouTube videos. Ooh, I look at this person. Why? Oh, well, I like because she does her hair this way. And then she does this. It's like, and she does this girl, she has a girl that does her nails, so now she's doing her own nails. And I'm like, I like having those kind of conversations with people younger than me, especially like a niece of mine, right? Because like I said, I don't have kids, so this is my extension. And being able to engage with her about the things that she like, whether it's games, whether it's her doing her own hair, whether her going to buy some crazy $1,000 hoodie for some, I don't know, but engaging with them, you know what I'm saying, is just giving them the space to actually be able to elaborate. And even if it is, they might not have the vocabulary all the time, but even if you just give them the space, they'll find the words. So just being able to talk to them, and you already kind of got the right idea anyway. I mean, if you hear, you know how this goes, you know what I'm saying? You know exactly how this goes. So give them space, engage with them, and just ask them, just talk to them. So if somebody asks me, that's what I would tell them.
My last question to you, and it's a little bit like somewhat layers to it.
Okay.
With all that you do, all the business, all the traveling, I know you love the energy of everything around you. But first with the traveling, is there a favorite place and favorite food? And also with the traveling and your work, how do you reset yourself and relax to get ready for what's coming next?
Oh, wow. Okay. So favorite food is two places that I've been, and like for two separate reasons, right? So I love Japan, right? I love Japan, but everything there is like pork based, like everything is pork based. Everything, but I don't eat pork. I stopped eating pork maybe like 10 years ago.
Oh wow!
Right.
Congrats to you.
Right, you got to. I'm one of them. Like, it's, you know how it goes. My family, they're like, yo, Steve, you're not trying to eat these hog mogs? I'm like, no, dude, I can't. You ain't about this pig feet? Not anymore. I don't do that no more.
Being from Memphis.
See, I know. See, trust me, I'm already hip. I know this. But when you go to Japan, I literally, one of my newest things, shout out to my boy Rio. Every time I go, he knows that I don't eat pork. So he finds me places that I can eat. So last time I was there, I had a crazy chicken ramen. I had a red snapper ramen. I had a duck ramen. Yeah. Gyokatsus everywhere because you still eat beef, you know what I'm saying? So Japan won, but also the Middle East, like Saudi Arabia, because like everything there is halal. So I can eat anything. And a lot of people don't notice, like I can't even eat regular gummy bears because gelatin is pork. You can't eat that. But over there, they have halal gummy bears. So I'm like, I can just go ham. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's actually crazy. It's one of the best things ever. But as far as one of my favorite places to go, obviously Japan, because it's just Japan, and that's a default. But I will say, maybe either Singapore or maybe I was in Romania for like 2 weeks, and like it was probably one of the most humbling things I've ever experienced because they kept telling me this thing about how they just got democracy.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
it's crazy because in the last I think it's like the last 10, 15 years that they really literally just got democracy. It's one of the craziest stories ever. But because you get to see, it's so worldly, it's so much more inviting. I think more inviting, but like when I'm in those places, like even Saudi Arabia, like it's not what we perceive it to be, and like you get a different vibe. I had people literally walking up to me while I was in Saudi Arabia, handing me babies and like, yo, take a picture with this baby. I was like, okay, all right, I guess I'll take a picture. That literally I swear to God, it's so crazy. But like people are they're interested in like other parts of the world. Like I call myself a culture junkie. This is why I like to travel so much. I like to see how other people live. So when I go there and I talk to people, like it really does give you a worldly, more culture-esque view of like what is perceived to be something that we don't know and it's supposed to operate a different way. So for me, when I go to these other places, it's more about seeing how people are that in the Philippines. I really love the Philippines. So the Philippines is an amazing place. I've been there a couple times. I haven't been back in a while, but yo, I'm a stamp collector. I tell people I'm a stamp collector. My stamp collection is crazy. But if we're gonna say how do I wind down, it's gonna sound crazy. But like I'm a crazy introvert. I'm a super introvert.
Really?
Yes.
Oh no, you could have told me.
When I go home, and the joke is, if you ask anybody who knows me, it's like you cannot get in contact with me because I don't like being readily available to people. So for me, I get home and I'm like, don't disturb. Slide it under the bed and I'm like, I'm gonna play the game. Lights off. I'm one of them. So to wind down, I do the biggest, like, I have to recharge. Don't talk to anybody. Live in my own. Catch up on all my anime, all my shows, and then maybe hit a concert or two, and then I can come back outside. And yeah. So, but if you ask anybody who knows me, ask them how hard it is to text me. They will let you. They will tell you. Steve, don't. I can show them all. I ain't gonna show it on camera. But I'm gonna show you something.
And that's a good reset, recharge.
Look at the text messages. Look at the missed calls.
Oh
Look
my
at the emails.
God.
There you go.
Oh, he's on demand.
Yes.
He's
So,
on demand.
like I said, I'm a super introvert in all honesty. Nobody's gonna believe that, but like literally, when I unplug. I'm like, yo, I'm just doing what I want to do. You can't talk to me. I'm finna watch this anime. I'm finna play this game, and I'm finna chill. You know what I'm saying? And yeah.
Wow. Y'all, I had a great time interviewing the Tasty Steve.
Oi.
I appreciate my girls with me on my first intuitive queen, Sunny Ray. Again, my name is Kristen, aka Blerd Sunbae. Sunbae, which means I love you in Korean. And like I always say, Sunbae out. Peace.
Blerd Sunbae, somehow with that Korean touch. Black nerd, and she fine, you just can't get enough. Blerd Appreciation Monday, that's been for short. All the Blerd creatives should be sure to report. We bout Wednesday, she go crazy over shows, from anime to dramas. How could you? And on the weekend, you never know what you could get. Make sure you stay tuned in. Blerd Sunbae's legit. It's a Blerd